Hey guys, and welcome back to a brand new episode of my F1 2018 modded career mode as Sebastian Vettel, and we are here for round number 4 of the season for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix at Baku. And it's been a couple of weeks since we've obviously done the series due to my break, but we are back, and a pretty interesting one now, revisiting these races after what happened in the Real Life Grand Prix, especially in the case of Baku, which was a pretty spectacular race, and I'm hoping to have something similar in the race here today. But first of all, we've got to jump into qualifying on Saturday, and let's hope we can get the car hooked up and get a good little setup on the car. But first of all, guys, if you're new to the channel, why not subscribe? And also, if you're a current subscriber, then do turn on notifications so you don't miss a single upload from the channel. But as you can see, jumping into Q1, first of all, you might notice a few little differences, including the halo. For the first time on this series, I decided to go for it and make a few changes and sort of increase the quality of the series a bit. So we've got the halo, and we'll be running this on the car now for the rest of the season. So hopefully you guys enjoy it, and you can see it pretty good on screen. But jumping into the end of our Q1 lap anyway, and there was a pretty good opening lap in the qualifying session. We go P2 behind Lewis Hamilton there. The car felt pretty damn good, I've got to say. Felt confident, had a lot of just good confidence in the car. I thought I could really lean on the car and really make the most of its performance. So we get through to Q2 quite comfortably. And speaking of Q2, we do switch over to the slower soft compound tyres, which are the ones we're going to start the race on. And in Q2, I've got to say, we had some pretty damn good pace, and we go purple in the second sector here by about 6/10, which was pretty extraordinary, and we are actually going to carry that time over the rest of the lap. And the soft tyres actually felt pretty damn good, and I think I'm going to be the only person in the top 10 who actually qualified on this time. We'll confirm it now across the line, but as you can see, opening up DRS now on this massive front straight here, and we're now running it to the left hand side for the shortest run to the line, and we go fastest out of anybody actually, quite surprisingly, on that soft tyre. Bottas actually went for softs as well there, but eventually he actually switched to the super soft because he dropped down the order a little bit, and as you can see, we go through in second place there, so only person on the softs. However, now in Q3 we was blessed with a little bit of wet weather, which is interesting to say the least, because my car was prepared for dry conditions with 1-1 aero, so in the wet I sort of had a bit of a tricky time with it, and I tried my best. As you can see, we're going to run on board for the entirety of the lap, and overall I've got to say it wasn't a terrible lap, but I think the car didn't feel great. The dry setup really sort of hindered me a little bit, and you'll see now as we're now going to turn 3, being a little bit too cautious on the brakes in my opinion, but I gave it a good go. Just the back end, as you can see, stepping out, just the overall inconsistency in the car setup, and it wasn't really working for me. But nonetheless, out of turn 4, once again, a little bit of rear wall spin as we now go into the chicane of 5 and 6, trying to play around with the gears to try and get the nose into the corner. We've also got Kimi Räikkönen right in front of us here, which isn't ideal. It was just sort of putting me off a bit and not allowing me to really attack the racetrack as I'd like to, as we now go up his inside into the hairpin. Very late braking manoeuvre there, but we make it stick. Had to make that move count because Räikkönen was just costing me hand over fist for overall lap time. So we had to make that move, but nicely done through the castle section, keeping it nice and tight and finessed through that section. A little bit of a tank stopper on the exit of that left-hander there, as we now go flat out through this kink, running it very close to the wall on the right-hand side there. And we now brake very hard for the blind downhill left-hand apex over the little bit of camber crest as we get the back end swinging out again there on exit. Just like I said, just struggling with the setup of the car in these wet conditions as we now go into the final sector. Last major brake zone here, get a pretty good run through there, but then I lose the back end again a little bit on the traction. Now the question is, can we keep it flat through here? It's almost flat. The second one also pretty much almost flat, a little bit of a wobble through the corner, but we managed to just about pull it off there. And now we're basically keeping the floor, the pedal glued to the floor, should I say, as we now run the car up to the finish line. We've done everything we can up to this point, so we're basically waiting to cross the line and see where we are. Obviously Verstappen's fastest, and Hulkenberg is actually P2 because he qualified on the super softs, but eventually the track got too wet, and it was also a bit of one of them ones where it was a bit of a glitch with the overall pace, because the AI sort of found time when the track conditions were not for dry tyres. So essentially it was a complete glitch, and there was no way Verstappen and Hulkenberg were going to get dislodged from the first place because they sit at dry time in completely wet conditions. But either way, that is what it is, and we're going to jump into the race. As you can see on Sunday, much nicer conditions, dry conditions expected throughout the entirety of the Grand Prix. But now we're going to run you through the grid here, and it's Max Verstappen and Nico Hulkenberg on the front row, and I'm going to be on the second row alongside a pretty interesting companion of mine, and it's going to be Mr. Lewis Hamilton alongside me in third place. So I'm going to be on fourth just behind him, so overall not too shabby there. Second row start with Bottas and Raikkonen just behind us. Then we have Ricciardo, who's only P7 with Perez alongside him. Roman Grosjean and Esteban Ocon bring out the top 10 with Sirotkin in a very good 11th place alongside Magnussen. Then Gasly and Hartley on the 7th row for Leclerc and Alonso in 15th for 16th. Sainz, Stroll, Van Dorn and Marcus Ericsson bring out the rear. But now it's time for the race. It's race day here at Baku and we are P4 on the grid after a pretty decent qualifying and looking positive for the race. Realistically, Hulkenberg, who's in front of us, isn't really competition. He'll draw back through the field, so really we're sort of third if you really look at it that way, but we still need to overtake Nico Hulkenberg and also get past Lewis Hamilton to our right hand side and of course Max Verstappen at the front of the grid. But interesting race. It's going to be very, very exciting because Baku always throws up a pretty unpredictable race. And in my situation, I'm hoping I can get the lead in sort of a pretty straightforward, boring race. Unfortunately, for the video, that might not be good news. But for me personally, I want to try and have a nice, easy race here because it's looking promising on paper. We're the only car in the top 10 who starts the race on the soft compound tyres with the yellow colour on the tyres, as you can see there through the tyre blanket. So with that in mind, I want to try and have a good race and make the strategy work. But speaking of strategy, it's going to be interesting because we do have a one-stop expected. However, it's going to be softs onto supers, and the supers are going to be a little bit of a tight one to try and pull off. So I'm sort of hoping for a VSC or a safety car maybe to try and get my tyres into the window. But, you know, it's a long race. We'll try and make it work. Hopefully we can just drive smoothly. That's the main thing. And also fuel-wise, we're going to go a little bit over the limit, about a lap or so, to try and keep it safe. But we're going to jump into the race and see how this race goes. So without further ado, let's jump straight into the Baku Grand Prix for round number 4 of the season. Okay, then here we go. We're going to get ready to the 5 red lights. And we're away in Azerbaijan. It's a pretty average start on the soft compound tyres. Definitely not the best. Could have been a little bit better. Into turn 1, we're going to be fighting. Valtteri Bottas is on my outside. He's got the move done, actually, Valtteri. So fair play to him. We're going to try and maybe look for the move into this corner here. Try and pick up the traction. Verstappen holds on to his lead. We're going to run some rich mix to try and keep up with the Mercedes cars. But here we go. This is going to be very, very interesting indeed into this next brake zone. Let's see who the bravest is. Hulkenberg actually tucks in behind Bottas. So Bottas also gets past Nico Hulkenberg, and already the Renault driver, who is yet to get a podium in his F1 career, is out of a podium position. So let's see if we could try and get past him here. Hulkenberg already, I can feel, is not particularly fast as we lock up into that corner there, just having to get out of the brakes because Hulkenberg broke a little bit earlier than I expected. But right now, we're looking racing this tyre. Also, being on this tyre, there's no need to rush into anything because we do have the advantage. So we can take it easy and try to at least do what I did not do what I did just there, which was locking up excessively into the corners. Just make sure we set our car up for the moves and have some patience because the overtakes will occur. So let's run on board now for the rest of this lap. I've got Raikkonen behind us, my teammate, so he's going to hopefully follow me through here. But we are right on the back of Nico Hulkenberg. I can't go for the move just yet, but I'm looking very close as I ever so slightly give his rear end a love tap there. But now hopefully it should be a pretty foregone conclusion as we go onto the main straight now, out of the last major braking zone on the track, and now it's all corners but absolutely flat out to the line. So here we go, picking up a slipstream on the German driver here in the Renault. We're going to get a nice run, pull to the left hand side and breeze past the Renault. I'm running 1-1 aero, so the lowest possible wings and the skinniest ones available for maximum straight line speed. So let's see if it works in our favour as we're now up into 4th place. On towards the end of lap 2 now, Lewis Hamilton has taken the lead of the race here at Baku, and Valtteri Bottas is all over the back of Max Verstappen. We are pulling away from Hulkenberg and we are catching up to these two, but Bottas is now going to make light work of the young Dutchman here and take 2nd place and make it a 1-2 for Mercedes AMG Petronas. And now we've got to try and navigate past Verstappen if we have to pace, because right now the Mercedes do look pretty damn quick. So we'll see how this one pans out, but this track also does sort of suit Mercedes due to the nature of the circuit. So let's see if we can try and catch Verstappen and get past him here. Okay, we've managed to get within Max Verstappen's DRS now, going on to lap number 4. Bottas fastest lap of the Grand Prix. I can't actually see anything because of the fastest lap name tag there, but that disappears quickly into turn 1. Personal best, just a little bit shy of the Mercedes pace at the minute. I'm not going to lie, I don't really have the overall race pace the Silver Arrows do on this tyre, but if we can at least get that podium position secured, that'd be pretty damn good. And here we go, then in the slipstream of Max Verstappen, DRS enabled. We are a little bit far back. I don't think it's going to be possible on the brakes here, on Verstappen especially, because, you know, he is a very aggressive driver, so we need to be careful. But we can't get it done just there on the brakes, so we've got to wait a little bit longer. Maybe towards the end of this lap could be a possibility. A little bit wide into there, just missed my apex a bit, lost a little bit of ground, a little bit of overall distance to Verstappen. He's managed to pull out a couple of car lengths on me, just missing my apex, but it doesn't really matter too much because we have some pretty ridiculous straight line speed, and Verstappen is well within range for me to make the pass here as we now wait for the DRS, even though I'm probably going to pass him without DRS anyway. The DRS is going to give me a couple of extra kilometers an hour to really breeze past the Dutchman, and there we go. We're now into third place, into a podium position, and now Bottas is actually attacking Lewis here, so this might be over just yet. Just like the Real Life Grand Prix, Bottas seemingly has way more pace than his teammate Lewis Hamilton, so let's try and chase these silver arrows down. Yeah, another personal best. Bottas has overtaken Hamilton, so they've switched positions, but now Hamilton's actually keeping up with his teammate and might actually re-overtake him into turn 3 now thanks to the DRS. So this is good news for us. The Mercedes sort of battling with the Slipstream. It means we're going to get back into this battle here, which is very, very positive going into the latter stages of this Grand Prix. Another personal best, and now the Mercedes are side by side into turn 1. This is good news for us as I turn a little bit too early for turn 1. They almost hit my front left suspension off, but Bottas and Hamilton side by side. Verstappen is actually keeping up with me as well, quite surprisingly, so he's not letting this one go without a fight, and he's going to have DRS. He's actually pretty close to me here, looking in my mirror, so he's going to try and have a go. Verstappen's actually going to try and go for the move here, I think. Is he going to pull to the inside? Yes, he does. On the brakes, who's going to brake the latest? We're going to go for the wider line. We've just held on to it, just about. And Hamilton has actually not been able to overtake Bottas either, so this is getting very interesting. They're bubbling away quite tastily, and we're going to have a nice little four-way scrap, I think, for the race here at the moment. Okay, we've finally got into Hamilton's DRS here, and he's actually going for the move on Bottas into turn 1. This time, though, he's got the move done quite comfortably, but we are getting very close, and we're now going to be integrated into this little battle for the lead of the race, which is very good for us. And meanwhile, this is allowing us on the slower tyre to catch back up, so very good stuff. And we're going to have DRS for the second DRS zone here, down into turn 3. So right now, we could be right on the back of Bottas, hopefully by the end of this lap, and maybe try and line up an overtake. Right then, Hamilton has all of a sudden found some godlike pace, and he is buggered off within the space of a lap. So we have got Bottas all to ourselves on this massive straight, and he's got no DRS from his teammates, so he's going to be a sitting duck as we now open up the rear flap here, on for a personal best. To be fair, he's picking up some speed. We're going to go to the outside as he moves to the inside a little bit here. Hopefully we can get in front of him before the brake zone, and yes, we do, just about before turn 1. Personal best in the process, 44.8, first one in the 44s this race, and we're now into second place, but now we're going to have to defend from the second DRS zone from the Mercedes. Do we have enough in the tank? I think we do. Good traction out of that corner. We've also managed to break a couple of car lengths on Bottas there on acceleration. He's getting close to me, but not close enough, and that is us in second place. Might be in trouble here. Bottas has DRS on my car, but he's not really getting close enough into turn 1. I don't think he's going to be close enough for the overtake. We just missed out on a personal best, even though I was 3/10 up in the second sector, but that's how much time you lose when you then have Slipstream or DRS on the main straight, because I was, like I said, 3/10 up in the second sector alone. So anyway, not too shabby. We're catching up to Hamilton actually. We've got better pace than him, which is good. Also, these super softs, they go around 12 laps, whereas these can go up to 14. So you think those would be more closer to the edge in terms of grip. So hopefully we can get that advantage and try and catch Hamilton with it. It's going to be borderline if we were in the window. I think we are now. I can just see his name tag, so I think we're good to go. And that is going to mean DRS on Lewis. The question is, will he come into the pit lane or will he stay out? If he comes in, it's probably going to be for mediums, and he is coming in. So Lewis Hamilton to the pit lane. I'm going to presume that's for medium tyres, because whoever comes in now is going to be in the medium tyre window. So that's going to be interesting, unless he can get a set of softs to the end, which would be a pretty incredible achievement. So let's see how that one pans out. I mean, to be fair, I'll put a qualifying lap on these, so it could be well possible that he tries to go softs to the end, but I'd say it's possible for people to go on mediums. Either way, Raikkonen also comes in, but right now we're into the lead of the race. First time in this Grand Prix. Good pace. We've recovered through the field pretty much, and we've had the pace really just about over everybody to try and make it happen. But now I'm curious to see how much time we lose to Lewis, unless Lewis gets stuck in traffic in this whole undercut, overcut situation. And let's see where we come out. And as expected, Verstappen and Bottas coming to the pit lane. So we're going to be running solo out of the front for a couple of laps. So it's time for some hammer time and try and see what lap times we can do. We are on for a personal best here, half a second up on my personal best, running rich mix in sector 1 and 3, and this is a pretty damn good lap with no DRS. Even though it is rich mix, it's still no DRS, and we're going to do a 44.3 as a very, very good lap to respond to the pace of Hamilton as we run a little bit deep into turn 1 there. No lock up, but a little bit deep nonetheless, covering the possible undercut. And also, if I do lose out in the undercut, which I probably will anyway, I'm just limiting the damage, and also hopefully I don't lose out to Verstappen as well. So right now pace is good, one more lap to go plus this one on these tyres. Okay, then we're going to come into the pit lane for our first and hopefully only stop of the race. Now it's going to be interesting to see where everybody pans out. So let's make sure we get it all nice and slowed down. I was also trying to be aggressive still into the pit lane here and get it all on the limiter. And there we go. That was pretty damn good in my opinion. So now we're going to go on to a set of the super soft compound tyres. Hopefully it's a nice quick stop on the clutch, ready to go. 2.5, not spectacular, but not terrible. We've got Marcus Ericsson on the right hand side who's just retired into turn 1. Here is Lewis Hamilton, so we're going to be way behind him. The question is, where is Valtteri Bottas? That's going to be the main one here. So let's see, as we get off the limiter, get up the speed, and there we go. We're comfortably in second place, comfortably done it. So Bottas nowhere to be seen, which is very good news for us. So P2 on a fresh super soft. Hamilton, to be first, done a very good job of getting the gap out at the front. So we have about 12 whole laps to try and get that gap back and try and win this Baku race. So let's do that. Well, I'm pretty much out of rich mix now, so we're going to have to try and pursue Hamilton with what we've got. And I've got to be honest, Hamilton's pace is very good in that soft compound tyre. I mean, very good. We are going to set a fast lap, I think. Yes, we do, but Hamilton is really quick. I'm really trying to find the limits of the car and the track and really trying to catch him, but he's keeping that gap around the 4-second window. Hamilton's responding to my change of pace. I just did a purple first sector. It turns out he also done one and managed to extend the gap. I think he's fastest in sector 1, but in sectors 2 and 3, you've got to give the advantage to me, especially because of the fresh tyres and traction zones. But Hamilton doing a very good job of keeping me at bay. Another purple sectors 1 and 2. Gap down to 2.2 seconds. I should come down a little bit more in this third sector. I'm chipping away at Hamilton's lead, but the problem is, ooh, that was scary. That was very scary, just pushing the limits too much there. I was going to say I'm chipping away at Hamilton's lead, but the problem is I might run out of tyres by the time I catch him because Will's pushing it hard. I'm really burning my rears into the ground. Gap now inside 2 seconds. Another fastest middle sector. It's getting there. Do we have enough laps left? Oh wow, safety car deployed. Roman Grosjean out of the race. Roman Grosjean just retired, and that's triggered the safety car. That is massive for us. So I'm going to get it slowed down first, make sure we don't get a penalty for speeding. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to save some fuel for one last attack on Lewis. This is going to mean the safety car is going to really open up the race right at the end of the Grand Prix. And it's going to be a sprint finish of about 2 or 3 laps, which is going to be very, very, very crazy. So let's see how this one pans out. But this has just made the end of the race even more tense and more exciting. Okay, we have the safety car coming in this lap. I've got Rich Mix selected. Let's get ready for this restart. Lewis is going to lead us away. It's going to be very, very, very interesting. We've got to be very, very aware of Lewis pulling away here. So just feathering the throttle and getting it ready for the moment. Here we go, any second now, and there we go, he's away. Let's try and get up the speed here. Rich Mix, can I get some slipstream into turn 1? This is shades of Vettel in the real life race on Bottas. Can I do anything into turn 1 here? Can I get on the brakes? Not quite. Hamilton very good on the brakes, still got plenty of tyres left. But here we go, 3 whole racing laps to go in Baku. Let's try and win this race. It's going to be interesting. Can we get close into that corner? Yes, we do, but we've got it way wrong on the brakes. And now we put ourselves under pressure from Valtteri Bottas, who might have a sniff here up the inside. I'm going to let him have the inside line. I'm not going to defend too hard, but Bottas doesn't really commit to it that much, and we managed to hold on. But now we've got to try and find our rhythm again and try and have another crack at the whip at trying to get past Lewis Hamilton. Okay, here we go, getting it absolutely perfect on the exit there, using all the track available. Rich Mix flowing. Half a second to Lewis Hamilton. This could be the one. Let's try get the car through here nice and easily. Now here we go. This is going to be the chance we get to win the race. Picking up a nice slipstream. DRS is not enabled yet because of the safety car rule, so we've got to get it done on slipstream and raw merit alone. Hamilton goes defensive. We lose an end plate. Hamilton swipes across right in the last minute, and there's a massive manoeuvre for the race lead here. Up the inside of Hamilton, I'm going to squeeze him out. Barn out the nurse, front wing damage for the rest of this race. I'm going to really struggle because on this game, when you lose a bit of your front wing, it's pretty much game over. So I need to save my fuel, and I need to be ready for the attack from the guys behind. I'm going to have absolutely no downfalls going out of the last corner before the back straight, the sort of last major brake zone, which is where I need that front end. So this is going to be very interesting now to see how the rest of this race pans out, but I think the understeer is going to be a big factor now. Okay, first time through here. Do we have the downfalls? Yes, we do. We can go flat out through there, which is a good thing. I got good traction out of the last sort of left-hander, and now the question is Hamilton going to have enough to go for a move? DRS isn't enabled, so I'm going to save that last bit of Rich Mix for the last lap assault, which is going to be inevitable from Hamilton. So here we go, last lap of the Grand Prix. DRS is now enabled. We need to make sure also we survive down to turn 3. doing a little bit of roller skating there on that curb, the bottom end of the car, just bottoming out on that curb. But here we go, out of turn 2, pretty good traction, a little bit of a skirmish rear end, but Hamilton doesn't get particularly great traction out of there, and I can see him on mirrors, but he's not really close enough to go for the move. So now it's all going to come down pretty much to the final pit straight. Okay, good run through there, nice and clean, good traction. The front wing isn't too bad actually, it's quite manageable, which is a good news, and we've had a great run through there, and I think we're going to be okay. Just avoid that wall, a little bit of understeer kicking in there, but we should be okay. Hamilton isn't really close enough. I can see on the mini-map, Bottas is actually closer to Hamilton than what he is to me. So here we go, pulling over to the left-hand side, braking the slipstream, and we're going to win the Baku Grand Prix. Run out of fuel across the line, but we win. We take the 25 points, and that is what we're all about. What a brilliant race. And the car was just a little bit faster than those around me today, and I just had the edge to try and get the W, and that's exactly what we got there at the end of the Grand Prix. So overall, very happy, and what an incredible race that was. A great fight back, and also good pace, nice consistency. Strategy was perfect, and the overtakes, when they mattered, I made them stick. So overall, a very, very good race for us as a team. And that is a big, fat 25 points on the board going into the next race, which is going to be Spain. So very interesting one coming up next, Spain. That should be a good one for the Mercedes cars, but we'll see how that one pans out. But overall, that was Baku, and we're now going to move into the final race results, drivers and constructor standings as we now go into the next race in Catalonia. So looking at the final race results, we win the race as Sebastian Vettel, and Lewis Hamilton comes home in second ahead of Valtteri Bottas. Max Verstappen finishes in P4 after starting from pole position, and Kevin Magnussen gets a brilliant 5th place in the Haas there on a one-stop strategy from P12 on the grid. Daniel Ricciardo beats my teammate Kimi Raikkonen in P6 there, and Nico Hulkenberg managed P8 after starting from 2nd place on the grid, with Sergio Perez and Fernando Alonso picking up a point there for McLaren. Charles Leclerc unfortunately just missing out. But in terms of the driver standings, you can see Hamilton leads the way, and we are now 3 points behind going into the Spanish Grand Prix, with both of the Red Bulls in 3rd and 4th, and Bottas now up in the P5. Raikkonen struggling still down in P8. But in terms of the constructors, Mercedes lead the way, and we are in P2, and Red Bull drop from 1st to 3rd in the space of a single race. But that is it, guys, for this episode of the F1 2018 modded career mode as Sebastian Vettel. And yeah, we're going to move into the next episode at Catalonia, guys. But if you did enjoy this one, then please do leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, turn on notifications to not miss a single upload from me, and also do check out these videos on screen if you have missed them by chance. But other than that, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you in my next video very soon. Goodbye.